In the cold, silent expanse of deep space, the reconnaissance vessel glided smoothly, its metallic hull reflecting pinpricks of distant starlight. Junho Park sat at the primary observation station, his fingers moving delicately across holographic displays that showed the latest planetary scan. The blue-green planet filled the main screen, Earth. Unremarkable at first glance, but something about its complex atmospheric patterns and random technological signatures caught Junho's attention. His species, known for their advanced technological capabilities, had encountered thousands of planetary systems. But this one felt different. Standard protocol dictated a swift assessment, determine potential threat level, evaluate technological advancement, and recommend either diplomatic engagement or neutralization. Most primitive civilizations were neutralized to prevent future conflicts. Junho knew the routine well. The initial data streams revealed a chaotic world, multiple nation-states, conflicting ideologies, technological disparities, weapons capable of global destruction existed alongside remarkable medical innovations, economic systems that seemed both brutal and compassionate, communication networks that spread information at incredible speeds. Commander Seok Choi, a veteran of multiple first contact missions, approached Junho's station. His reflection showed a stern face, marked with years of interstellar exploration. Preliminary report? Choi's voice was crisp, professional. Junho hesitated. The data suggested complexity beyond standard classification. Humans demonstrated remarkable adaptive capabilities. Their technological progression, though uneven, showed unprecedented potential. Unconventional recommendation, Junho responded, his voice steady. Further observation required. Choi raised an eyebrow. Recommendations for extended observation were rare. Most missions followed a strict protocol. Assess, categorize, neutralize if necessary. The ship's sensors continued scanning. Random communication signals intercepted revealed intricate human interactions. Arguments, love, scientific discussions, cultural expressions, all transmitted across their global network. A specific signal caught Junho's attention. A group of scientists discussing a potential medical breakthrough for a rare genetic condition. Collaborative, selfless, focused on solving a problem that would benefit a small segment of their population. Most species Junho had encountered would prioritize individual or collective survival. These humans seemed different. The ship's advanced translation algorithms worked silently, converting complex human communication patterns into comprehensible data. Each transmission added another layer to the growing complexity of human civilization. Military advisors would argue for immediate neutralization. Humans possessed nuclear capabilities, showed signs of environmental destruction, and had a history of violent conflicts. The logical recommendation would be to prevent potential future threats, but Junho saw something else: resilience, creativity, an unexplained capacity for rapid innovation and unexpected cooperation. Commander Choi's voice interrupted his thoughts. Recommendation? Junho knew his response could determine the fate of an entire planetary civilization. Neutralization was standard procedure for potentially threatening species. One wrong assessment could mean extinction. The ship's sensors continued. Scanning. Cities, oceans, technological networks, biological diversity, an entire world captured in intricate digital representations. Extended observation, Junho said finally. They require comprehensive evaluation. Choi studied him, understanding the weight of such a recommendation. No reconnaissance mission in their species' history had ever requested extended observation of a potentially threatening civilization. Outside the ship's reinforced windows, Earth continued its silent rotation, unaware of the alien vessel watching, analyzing, deliberating its potential fate. Junho knew his recommendation was unusual, but something about human potential felt different. Not just another planetary system to catalog and potentially eliminate. Something special existed on that blue-green planet, something that defied standard galactic protocols. The ship's systems hummed quietly, processing millions of data points per second. Waiting. Watching. deciding the fate of an entire civilization with cold, precise calculations. And at the center of it all, Jun-Ho Park, a junior diplomatic analyst about to challenge everything his civilization believed about first contact. The research chamber buzzed with soft electronic hums. Jun-Ho spread multiple holographic displays across the workspace, each flickering with human historical records. His colleagues watched with growing curiosity and skepticism. Humans fascinated him. Their history was a complex tapestry of conflict and cooperation, destruction and creation. One moment they would wage devastating wars, and the next they would rebuild entire communities with remarkable compassion. He found a record of a small medical team traveling to a remote disaster zone. No personal gain, no strategic advantage, simply a desire to help strangers. Such behavior was statistically improbable in most known civilizations. Another display showed scientific collaborations that crossed national boundaries. Researchers sharing critical discoveries about climate change, medical breakthroughs, technological innovations, all without demanding immediate personal compensation. The High Council would not understand. They viewed civilizations through mathematical models and threat assessments. Humans defied those simple calculations. Jun-Ho zoomed into a particular event. A global pandemic where people sacrificed personal comfort to protect vulnerable populations. Healthcare workers risking their lives. Communities supporting each other despite economic challenges. His senior researcher, a stern woman named Ara Kim, approached his workstation. "Your recommendation makes no logical sense," she stated flatly. "Logic is more than mathematical probability," Jun-Ho responded. "Humans demonstrate adaptive intelligence beyond computational models." He showed her a compilation of human problem-solving scenarios. A global team developing a vaccine in record time. Engineers creating sustainable technologies. Artists generating complex emotional narratives that united diverse populations. Ara studied the data. Her traditional analytical mind struggled to process the information. Humans were chaotic, unpredictable, yet somehow incredibly effective. They destroy their environment, she argued. They create weapons. They have significant internal conflicts. And they simultaneously solve complex global challenges, Jun-Ho countered. They recognize their mistakes and actively work to correct them. The research chamber fell silent. Years of galactic observation had taught their civilization that most emerging species were eliminated to prevent future conflicts. Humans seemed like perfect candidates for neutralization, but something about their spirit was different. Jun-Ho pulled up another display showing human cultural expressions. Music that could transform emotional states, art that challenged existing perceptions, literature exploring complex moral dilemmas. Most alien civilizations viewed creativity as inefficient. Humans saw it as a critical survival mechanism. A young researcher named Taman walked closer, fascinated by the human data streams. "They seem complicated," he murmured. "Complicated is an understatement," Jun-Ho smiled. "They are beautifully complex." The displays continued cycling through human achievements. A teenager developing a solution for ocean plastic. A community rebuilding after a natural disaster. Scientists collaborating across continents to solve fundamental research challenges. Jun-Ho knew his recommendation was radical. Suggesting observation instead of neutralization would challenge centuries of established protocol. The High Council would scrutinize every piece of evidence. But he was convinced. Humans represented something unique in the galactic ecosystem. Not just another species to be categorized and potentially eliminated. They were potential partners. Unpredictable, messy, passionate partners in a complex universal narrative. As the research displays continued their silent dance of information, Jun-Ho prepared his comprehensive report. Each data point, each discovered human interaction, would be meticulously documented. The fate of an entire planetary civilization rested on these findings. And somewhere in the vast, cold research chamber, a new understanding of intelligent life was taking shape. Jun-Ho understood one fundamental truth. Humans were not just another species to be studied. They were a phenomenon waiting to be understood. The simulation began quietly, a complex global scenario designed to test human response mechanisms, electromagnetic disruptions, communication network failures, potential infrastructure collapse. Yuna. Kim stood in the International Emergency Response Center, her eyes scanning multiple screens. Something felt different about this crisis. The data pattern seemed unusual, almost constructed. What she didn't know: alien observers watched every human movement. Junho monitored from the reconnaissance vessel, his breath catching with each human decision. The test was carefully engineered to reveal critical response behaviors. First, communication networks collapsed. Major cities experienced simultaneous power grid failures. Transportation systems ground to a halt. In previous planetary assessments, such scenarios typically triggered panic, fragmentation, and potential societal breakdown. But humans responded differently. Local community leaders immediately organized support groups. Technology experts began creating alternative communication networks. Medical professionals established emergency coordination centers. Engineers started developing rapid repair strategies. No central authority dictated these actions. They emerged organically, spontaneously. Yuna coordinated with international teams. Her leadership wasn't about giving orders, but facilitating collective problem-solving. She connected experts, shared critical resources, balanced emotional support with practical solutions. Within hours, makeshift communication systems emerged. Amateur radio operators, satellite repair teams, community mesh networks built from existing technology. Junho watched in fascination. Most civilizations would collapse under such systematic disruptions. Humans were converting a potential disaster into a collaborative problem-solving exercise. The simulation introduced additional complexity: simulated environmental challenges, limited medical resources, potential economic destabilization. Human responses continued to defy expectations. Universities shifted research priorities. Companies temporarily redirected manufacturing capabilities. Volunteers organized logistics. Financial institutions developed emergency support mechanisms. No single group controlled the response. It was a distributed, adaptive system. Taemin, watching alongside Junho, whispered, "This is impossible." But it was happening. Humans were transforming a potential catastrophe into an opportunity for collective growth. Scientists shared research in real time. Technology experts developed quick solutions. Community leaders managed local challenges. Government institutions provided structural support. The alien observation team recorded every moment. Each interaction challenged their understanding of collective intelligence. Yuna's team didn't just manage the crisis, they learned from it, developed new collaboration protocols, created innovative solution frameworks. Junho realized something profound. Human strength wasn't in individual capabilities, but in their capacity for rapid, flexible, collaborative adaptation. The simulation continued. Each introduced challenge met with increasingly sophisticated responses. No panic, no collapse, just persistent, creative problem-solving. Medical teams developed emergency treatment protocols. Engineers created innovative infrastructure repairs. Communities supported vulnerable populations. Aliens had designed the test to reveal weakness. Instead, they discovered unexpected resilience. As the simulation reached its final stages, human teams had not just survived. They had transformed the entire scenario into a learning experience. Junho knew the report would shock the High Council. These weren't just another planetary species. They were a dynamic, adaptive, remarkably intelligent civilization. The observation team's initial neutralization recommendation now seemed absurd. When the simulation concluded, humans had not just survived. They had fundamentally improved their collective capabilities. Junho turned to Taemin. "Do you understand now?" Taemin could only nod, speechless. The blue-green planet continued its silent rotation, holding a species that defied every known galactic expectation. Humans. Complicated, unpredictable, Extraordinary. The interstellar conference room hummed with tension. Representatives from 7 different civilizations sat around a massive circular table, each species representing complex, often conflicting galactic interests. At the center stood Yuna Kim and Junho Park, an unlikely pair bridging impossible differences. The conflict seemed insurmountable. 3 neighboring star systems faced potential total destruction, resource scarcity, historical conflicts, complex territorial disputes that had simmered for generations. Most diplomatic missions would have collapsed within hours. This one felt different. Yuna understood something fundamental about complex negotiations. It wasn't about winning. It was about finding shared interests. Her initial approach surprised everyone. Instead of presenting legal arguments or territorial claims, she began by asking each representative about their civilization's core survival needs. Junho watched, fascinated. This was not standard diplomatic protocol. The Carlonian representatives spoke first. A silicon-based species with intricate technological capabilities but limited emotional understanding. They needed rare mineral resources to sustain their advanced technological infrastructure. The Meridian delegation represented a water-based civilization. Their primary concern was maintaining stable planetary environments for their complex marine ecosystems. Another delegation represented a nomadic species constantly searching for sustainable habitation zones. Where traditional diplomats would have focused on legal frameworks and historical claims, Yuna did something unexpected. She created a collaborative mapping system that identified mutual survival interests. "We're not here to divide resources," she explained. "We're here to ensure collective survival." Junho translated her approach for the alien observation team. This was not typical human behavior. This was something extraordinary. Over the next several days, something remarkable happened. Instead of competing, the different civilizations began sharing technological insights. The Carlonians offered advanced mineral extraction technologies. The Meridian delegation provided complex environmental stabilization models. Yuna facilitated. She wasn't negotiating. She was creating a collaborative ecosystem. Junho realized humans possessed a unique diplomatic intelligence. They could transform conflict into cooperative opportunity. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. A young Meridian scientist proposed a revolutionary resource-sharing model. Instead of competing, the civilizations could create a joint technological and ecological preservation network. No single species would dominate. Each would contribute. Each would benefit. The conference room transformed. What began as a potential conflict became a collaborative design session. Junho watched in amazement. Humans had turned an impossible scenario into a collective solution. When the final agreement was drafted, something unprecedented happened. The representatives didn't just sign a document. They created a living, adaptive framework for future cooperation. The observation team's initial reports about human potential suddenly made perfect sense. Yuna's final statement captured the essence of the breakthrough. "We are not here to compete," she said. "We are here to survive together." Junho knew this moment would change galactic diplomatic history. The conference concluded. 7 different civilizations had entered with historical conflicts. They emerged with a collaborative survival strategy. And at the center of this extraordinary transformation, 2 humans who understood something profound about collective intelligence. As the delegates prepared to return to their respective star systems, a new understanding emerged. Humans were not just another species. They were potential galactic architects of collaborative solutions. Junho looked at Yuna. She smiled, understanding the magnitude of what had just occurred. The universe watched, and something fundamental had changed. Collaboration had replaced competition. Understanding had replaced conflict, and humans had made it possible. The Galactic Council chamber was unlike any human had ever seen. Massive crystalline structures reflected light in impossible colors. Alien representatives from thousands of civilizations sat in silent anticipation. Junho Park stood beside Yuna Kim, their presence both unexpected and unprecedented. Humans were about to be evaluated by the most advanced collective in known space. The Central Arbiter, a being of pure energy and complex mathematical consciousness, began the formal assessment. Holographic displays emerged showing humanity's entire recorded history. Every achievement, every conflict, every moment of potential and failure. Most species would have been instantly judged. Humans had a complex history of violence, environmental destruction, and internal conflicts. Traditional galactic protocols demanded neutralization for civilizations showing such chaotic patterns. But something was different this time. The displays didn't just show human conflicts. They revealed human capacity for unexpected transformation. Medical breakthroughs developed in weeks, environmental restoration projects, complex problem-solving that defied traditional computational models. Junho watched carefully. Years of research had led to this moment. The Council began its systematic evaluation. Each civilization was measured by specific galactic standards: technological advancement, collective intelligence, potential for peaceful cooperation. Humans seemed to break every existing measurement standard. Their technology was inconsistent. Their social structures were chaotic. Their global communication networks were unpredictable. Yet beneath this apparent disorder, something remarkable emerged: adaptive intelligence. The holographic displays showed human responses to global challenges: pandemic management, climate adaptation, technological innovations developed through open, collaborative networks. Most alien civilizations operated through centralized decision-making. Humans created solutions through distributed, flexible systems. Yuna stood calm. She understood this was more than a personal assessment. This was a representation of an entire species. The Council's mathematical consciousness analyzed millions of data points per second. Human potential was being calculated, evaluated, measured against thousands of known civilizations. Minutes felt like centuries. Junho's research documentation became the primary evidence. Each carefully collected data point now carried the weight of planetary recognition. Suddenly, the chamber's energy shifted. The Central Arbiter's form vibrated with what could only be described as surprise. Humans were not just another species to be categorized. They were a unique galactic phenomenon. The formal declaration came unexpectedly. Humans would be recognized as a collaborative potential species, a rare classification given to civilizations demonstrating extraordinary adaptive capabilities. No neutralization, no restriction, full recognition. Yuna looked at Junho. No words were necessary. They had fundamentally changed humanity's galactic trajectory. The Council's decision meant more than diplomatic recognition. It meant humans were now considered potential partners in solving complex universal challenges. Outside the chamber, thousands of alien representatives processed the unprecedented decision. A species known for its chaos had been recognized for its extraordinary potential. Junho understood the true significance. This wasn't just about humans. This was about redefining intelligence itself. As the Council's energy signatures faded, a new chapter in galactic history began. Humans would no longer be seen as a potential threat. They would be seen as potential collaborators. The blue-green planet continued its silent rotation, unaware that its entire future had just been transformed. Humanity had passed the ultimate test, not through military might, not through technological superiority, but through an unexpected capacity to understand, adapt, and collaborate. The universe had been watching, and humanity had exceeded every possible expectation.